Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Really do appreciate your time. Before we get started, I just want to give a special shout out to each and every one of you that are checking out this video right now. I really do appreciate it. Shouts out to all of the people that partake in the content here on this channel. And on this edition, we're going to be talking a little bit about Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler, and we're going to be talking about, could he possibly be traded this offseason? Now, the reason I decided to come up with this topic is because I find it very interesting. And, you know, despite what some Saints fans or NFL fans may think about Spencer Rattler, I think that he's a very serviceable quarterback. I think he's a really good quarterback. Despite the fact that the New Orleans Saints end up benching him and replacing him with Tyler Shough, and we all know how good Tyler Shough did down the stretch, that doesn't mean that there's not a place for Spencer Rattler. Now, before I get started and tell you my thoughts about this particular subject, just want to go ahead and break down Spencer Rattler's stats. Go ahead and give it to you. He completed 67.7% of his passes for 1,586 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, has a quarterback rating of 86.5. Now, if you look at those stats or listen to those stats, you'll see that Spencer Rattler put up some decent numbers. We know that Spencer Rattler wasn't just out there just playing terribly. He was just a quarterback to me. That was a guy that was basically 10-2. But I also think that this was a quarterback that understood that he was being evaluated every single game. He knew that he wasn't just the surefire quarterback of this NFL team. And he had to go out there and prove himself each and every week. And when you are under that type of pressure, you just want to keep the car 10-2. You just want to keep it on the road. But we've seen as soon as, he started to struggle in that game versus the Bears, and then, the game after that, the Saints decided to bench him and put in Tyler Shough because they felt like it was a better situation. They feel like they needed a spark. Maybe some of the things they were seeing from Tyler Shough, he seemed to improve from week to week. Anybody would tell you. I was actually looking at Get Up, and Cam Jordan was on there on today, and he talked a little bit about how Tyler Shough looked at the beginning of training camp and the rookie process for him versus how he looked down the stretch and how he became a much better quarterback. But all in all, I don't think that Spencer Rattler getting benched is an indication of him not being good enough to play in the National Football League. I just don't believe that. And I just think that fans need to get away from that assessment, because we have seen on countless occasions where you have quarterbacks that may go to a spot where it's not suffice for them to be able to thrive, to be able to be the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. And this is one of those cases when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. It does not benefit Spencer Rattler. Look, there are different types of quarterbacks. And I think if you've been watching the NFL long enough, you understand that. There are quarterbacks that you are going to win because of, and there are going to be quarterbacks that you're going to win with. And Spencer Rattler is one of those quarterbacks you can win with. If you accompany Spencer Rattler with a good running game, a good defense, he will be able to steer the ship. For example, I feel as if Spencer Rattler was to go to the Houston Texans, I think that Spencer Rattler would find success. They have a really good running game. They have a really good defense, and they're not relying on him solely to win the football game for them. They don't have to worry about, I need to go out here and throw for 300 yards if you're Spencer Rattler. You can just go out there and just keep this thing afloat. Maybe, go out there and make a play every now and then to keep the chains moving. But all in all, you still are going to find success in the National Football League. What the New Orleans Saints found from what we've seen so far, and hopefully it will continue with Tyler Shough, is lightning in a bottle. You see a guy that has the capabilities of putting the team on his back and making plays down the stretch. A guy that if he does make a mistake, he can come back out there and make up for that mistake with a dime down the field or even a touchdown to make up for the turnover. So there's nothing wrong with Spencer Rattler. And this is what I want Saints fans to understand too. I don't want Spencer Rattler. You shouldn't want Spencer Rattler to sit on a bench and waste away just so you can feel at ease with your quarterback situation. That's not fair to this guy who puts in the work, who goes out there and performs and has the capabilities of being a starting quarterback. When I put this topic out on social media, and, the feedback I got was mostly like, yeah, this could be a good idea to see, if he can possibly be traded. But I did see a nice sample size of people that commented. They were saying things like, why would you want to see Spencer Rattler go to another team? Because he's good enough to play in the National Football League. Like, think about this. Like, we have a tendency of sometimes removing ourselves from situations and not looking at it as a whole, right? If it doesn't like really relate to us and our feelings or views, we don't need to, discuss it any further. But I want to give you all an example. Now think about this. You're at your job right now. You've been at your job for a minute. You're good at your job. There's an opportunity for you to move into another position. There's a position opening, right? And let's just say, for example, you work under somebody and that person sees how hard you work. They see how much you benefit them and their particular department. So when that opportunity presents itself for you to possibly go over to another department to head that up, what if that person comes in and just says, I don't know if he's ready for prime time, so to speak. I don't know if he has the capabilities in order to perform the job. Not the fact that you can't, but the fact that they feel as if they lose you, then, oh man, I'm gonna have to work even harder, or I won't be able to find somebody to replace the type of production that you put in. Now tell me, is that fair? Now ask yourself this question. If Spencer Rattler has the capabilities of being a starting quarterback on a needy team, why would you want to see this man sit on a bench just for the simple fact that, oh, if he comes in, you know that he'll play some solid football? No, allow him to go somewhere where he can be able to thrive. If the New Orleans Saints have found the quarterback in Tyler Shough, the quarterback of the future, and you feel that way, then that's just the breaks. You're going to lose a talented quarterback. We've seen this before, man. We've seen this in years past where you had a quarterback that everybody probably thought was going to be the starter. Then in comes another quarterback and they find success. There was a couple of years ago with Tony Romo, right? Tony Romo was the starting quarterback of the Cowboys, but they drafted Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was like a 4th round pick. He comes in, he plays well. It's not an injury situation that we're dealing with, but Tony Romo ends up hurting his back. Dak Prescott comes in, provides a spark, and they decided to sit Tony for the entire year and let Dak Prescott play quarterback. And he ended up winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. I want to see Spencer Rattler go to another team if there's an opportunity. And also the reason why I'm having this conversation with you all right now is because we have seen throughout the last couple of weeks quarterbacks that were supposed to come out of college and go to the NFL draft decided to go back another year. Dante Moore a couple of days ago announced that he was going back to the University of Oregon. Lenore Sellers decided to go back to South Carolina. Those are 2 top quarterbacks that people had on their draft boards going into the 2026 draft. But if you look at the performances of these quarterbacks throughout, the only quarterback that stands out there and many may consider as quarterback NFL ready type, NFL type quarterback right now that can come in, that can play instantly would be Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana. All these other quarterbacks have a lot of question marks, and maybe teams aren't going to want to reach for that particular quarterback. Like, you got Ty Simpson out there, you got Carson Beck. But these guys aren't going to, I don't feel like they're going to be like top picks in the draft. Maybe Ty Simpson will probably be a late first round pick or something like that. And maybe Carson Beck will probably be like a second or a third round pick. But these teams aren't going to look at these quarterbacks as top priority. It's kind of that year where you had guys like Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis coming out, where only Kenny Pickett was the only first round quarterback. So Dante Moore decides to go back to college. Lenore Sellers, the dynamic quarterback that some people may look at, and feel like there's something there. He's going back. You got Trinidad Chambers out there. Even though he played well, I don't think teams are looking at him as a first round quarterback. So maybe they're going to be looking at some of these quarterbacks that are on other teams. This is a great opportunity for guys like Mac Jones, who came in when Brock Purdy was out. He played really good, kept things afloat for the 49ers. I feel like he kind of made himself, available to a lot of teams, and he also proved that, he still, can play in the league and generate success. But Spencer Rattler could possibly be another quarterback. I mean, there are some teams out here that need quarterbacks, that need somebody to be able to keep things going, keep things afloat, and Spencer Rattler could possibly be one of them. And, of course, the Saints can get some draft compensation from it. Maybe add another player to come to the team to be able to generate success on the offensive or defensive side of the football. This is a great opportunity. And once again, this is a great opportunity for Spencer Rattler to possibly go somewhere where he doesn't have to look over his shoulder and have to play perfect all the time and, not just be evaluated, from first down to second down. Teams will give him that unwavering support where he can go out there and perform. That's what I want. I want to see this guy thrive. I want to see this guy find success. If you're a Saints fan right now, you're excited that it seems like the Saints have gotten their quarterback of the future. But why allow Spencer Rattler to sit on a bench if a team looks at him, as a marketable quarterback? They decide to make a trade for him. Why not listen to him? I believe that Spencer Rattler would want that. I don't think Spencer Rattler wants to sit on a bench and watch Tyler Shough play and hold a clipboard. He wants to play. He wants to prove that he belongs in the National Football League. In my opinion, and in a lot of opinions of individuals that I spoke with, all of the opinions that I've heard for the most part have been the same. I didn't expect Spencer Rattler to look as good as he did as the Saints starting quarterback. They just needed something a little bit more. And as you can see, Tyler Shough has provided that. So Spencer Rattler can go somewhere if the Saints decide to trade him or a team is interested, where he can go out there and show what he has as a starting quarterback. But let me go ahead and read some of these comments. It says, nah, I'm not trading him. Shough has an injury history. He's cheap, and the NFL needs capable play from backup quarterbacks. Well, look, why would you want it? Like I said, you want to see this man go out here and just sit on a bench as an insurance policy to waste away. And you can say that Tyler Shough has an injury history, but who's to say that Tyler Shough will have injury history going forward? Like, he had some unfortunate situations that happened to him in college, but who's to say that those injuries are going to happen again? What if they never happen again? So you want to see Spencer Rattler sitting on the bench holding a clipboard when he has the capability of being a starting quarterback that can give you some type of compensation, if he goes somewhere else, all for the simple fact of him sitting on the bench to put your mind at ease as a fan? Nah, that's not good enough, man. Come on, man. That goes back to my example that I just used. If you are talented at your job, you have the capability of getting a promotion, and somebody holding you back in your department for the simple fact that they just want to keep you around to make their job easier, why would you want to do that? Like, how would you feel about that? See, we look at it from our own selfish perspective sometimes. I'm not calling you selfish, but I'm just saying the way that we think sometimes, we're only looking at it like self-preservation. But we also don't think about the people that are affected by the decisions that we make. So why should this man suffer if he has the capability of being a starting quarterback, all to sit on the bench because there's a possibility that Tyler Shough can get hurt? Like, come on, man. Like, that's not a good enough reason to keep a guy around if you can actually trade him. If a team calls the New Orleans Saints right now and say, we want to give you a third-round draft pick for Spencer Rattler, you're not going to take that when he was a fifth-round draft pick? So I don't know, man. It's not worth it, in my opinion. And then on top of that, you can always get yourself a veteran quarterback to come in and sit behind Tyler Shough, a guy that has been there, a guy with some experience, a guy that maybe Kellen Moore is familiar with, and they can give you stability at the quarterback position. But I don't think you need to hold Spencer Rattler back if there's an opportunity for him to go somewhere else, and you can benefit from that by getting a 3rd-round pick or, even a 4th-round pick. He was a 5th-round quarterback. So if you're getting a 3rd-round pick or a 4th-round pick for Spencer Rattler, that's a win. That's kind of like with Rashid Shaheed. What the Saints, what they got, like a 4th and a 6th or something like that, or a 4th and a 5th for Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed was an undrafted rookie. I mean, they didn't draft him, and you get that type of return on investment. That's a win. So you shouldn't want this man to sit on no bench, especially if you can actually get something in return from him. It'll be a win-win situation. Saints win by getting some draft compensation, and Spencer Rattler wins by going somewhere where he can be a starting quarterback in the league. TJ, Kellen Moore is keeping Spencer Rattler. He's a good quarterback, needs time to turn from a puppy to a pit bull. I mean, that's probably the plan, but plans change. So you're telling me if a team calls up and be like, I want to give you a 3rd-round pick for Spencer Rattler, you wouldn't consider that? Now, you can keep him on the bench, but if you can get something in return, and then on top of that, he get opportunity to be a starting quarterback, why not? Why not? That's kind of like what Sean Payton did with Devon Bailey. It sounded insane when it happened, but Devon Bailey was talented, and Sean Payton realized that. But he also realized that it was a crowded wide receiver room, and Devon Bailey wouldn't have had the opportunity to get on the field with all the talent that Denver had at the wide receiver position. So what did he do? He traded him, right? It sounded crazy at the time, and we were waiting for Devon Bailey to do something. But when he did go out there, I mean, he pretty much proved that he was worth being traded for. So why have this man out here with talent and ability to be able to help a team, to be able to help himself, to be able to put himself in a different tax bracket if he goes out there and play all the while, so you can just have him on the bench in glass and in case of emergency break it? I'm not a fan of that, man, because I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me. Like if I have the talent and ability to be able to be a starter in the league, I have the talent and ability to do something. I don't want nobody holding me back, especially if there's an opportunity for me to go elsewhere. Rattler solid. If I'm a head coach and I'm trying to build a team, I would feel good about a young Spencer Rattler. Yeah, I mean, I would too. Spencer needs more work than most, but can be something, just got to win. Yeah, I mean, he needs work, but like I said, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this podcast. Some guys you can win because of, and some guys you can win with. Spencer Rattler is a guy you can win with. He's not going to just constantly make crazy mistakes over and over again. He's going to make mistakes. That's just what it is. But he's going to give you everything that he has. And if you accompany him with a solid running game, you accompany him with a good defense, and there's a lot of teams out there that's built that way. They want to run the football, they want to play good defense, and they're just hoping that their quarterback doesn't put the ball in harm's way for most of the time. And if you get some wide receivers, running back, get yards after the catch, he definitely can thrive. We see how beneficial that can possibly be for a quarterback if you have a supporting cast around him that can be able to generate success, be able to get that yak. It'll make quarterbacks look a whole lot better. I just got off the phone with the NFL. They all want to give Rattler $80 million a year. He's the hottest commodity in football. Well, I don't think it's that, but I'm sure that a team, based on this NFL draft climate that we're in right now at the quarterback position, there are going to be some guys that, probably were backups, probably started their career as starters, going to end up getting an opportunity. I think that Mac Jones is going to end up being a starter on somebody's team, and I think there's going to be some more quarterbacks. And we know that, where you go, it matters. Sometimes, a change of scenery matters. I mean, look at what Sam Darnold is doing right now in Seattle. They're the number 1 seed right now. He's playing some of his best football, and it kind of started from him going to the Minnesota Vikings. When he was bouncing around the league, going to the Carolina Panthers and the 49ers, he was trying to find his way. And what will happen? People are like, oh man, that's Sam Darnold. He's just the quarterback the Jets drafted that never amounted to anything. Like, you have to allow these guys to maybe go to different places. I keep telling you all, sometimes the organizations fail players too. And sometimes these players are not put in the best position, or maybe they're not surrounded by the right cast of characters to be able to show what they're really truly capable of. And when they do, then we'll see a much better version of them. And that's why, a lot of people have to go and backtrack and be like, man, I didn't think it was like that. I didn't think he was that good, because they probably weren't put in the best situations. Keep in mind, if you're a top draft pick, you're going to a very tough situation where the team that you're probably going to, or, a double-digit loss team, and probably change their coach, probably change their general manager. So there's a lot of things that are not in place for that quarterback to be able to thrive. Please identify the team that will give up a third-round pick for Rattler. I mean, if a team wants to win, right? If a team wants to, want to win, they feel like, okay, if I'm not going to be close enough in the draft to get the top quarterback, then, maybe they would. Like, I want you to understand something. Like, I know we sit up here, we have these conversations with friends and social media, and we feel like we just got the general consensus of what people feel about a player, but we don't. We don't. Like, we don't know what these organizations feel. Like, we talk among our friends, and, oh, man, he ain't it. He ain't it. But I can tell you, a lot of the times when we talk about players and how we evaluate players is completely different than what NFL teams think about some of these players. And if it's a team that feels like, you just need some solid quarterback play, we can accompany this guy. Yeah, teams will actually do that. They will actually do that if they feel like that player has the capabilities of it. You can sit up here and say that Spencer Rattler is not good enough to be a starting quarterback. And where do you get that? Because he can't fully elevate himself elevate the team like a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes can. Well, not too many quarterbacks can. Not too many quarterbacks can. See, we take the biggest outliers in the NFL, and we compare them to guys that probably be mid-tier or average. And if they don't look the part, and when we size them up, then we just throw them away and we just cast them away. But teams don't look at it that way. They look at the situation, they look at the organization. And then, like I said, when it all comes down to it, who knows what they think about them? I can tell you right now, based on the individuals that are within the NFL that I, have a privilege of speaking with and talking to behind the scenes, the way that Saints fans think about Spencer Rattler is not how they look at it. The majority of the individuals that I spoke with, like, man, he's much better than a lot of people thought. So, and then it's not like he was just playing so awful. And then, let's just say, for example, let's just say Spencer Rattler was playing the way that he did, and then Tyler Shough comes in and he just played worse. Tyler Shough basically was a better quarterback. He played the quarterback position better. But that doesn't mean that Spencer Rattler is terrible. Like, it's kind of justifiable. It would be insane, right? If Tyler Shough was showing what he was showing in practice and it translated to the field, but the Saints just kept having Spencer Rattler out there when they know that maybe what Tyler Shough is doing is a little bit better than what Spencer Rattler is doing. But like I said, that's not an indicator that Spencer Rattler is a terrible quarterback. Like, it just seems to us and everybody else as of right now that there's a possibility that Tyler Shough in the next 3 to 4 years can be that primetime quarterback and be that quarterback comparison that everybody wants to be, right? Yeah, he's the next Tyler Shough. That's how people are looking at it, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but he has amazing upside, and everybody's excited to see what Tyler Shough can actually turn into. So I'm just saying, like, we sit up here and we go back and forth on social media all the time, and we feel like that's what how everybody feel, because a couple people feel the way that you do. But I'm telling you, it doesn't work like that. TJ, off subject, on the next state of NFL, can you do a Adam Thielen career breakdown or highlights? He was a personal favorite of mine and would want to see him get some love since he barely mentioned. Yeah, man, Adam Thielen was an incredible wide receiver, man. I mean, we know what he did for the Minnesota Vikings, and he was that guy before Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs showed up. And, you know, he was a guy, I want to say he was like a 5th-round pick, a hometown guy, was born and raised in Minneapolis and playing for his hometown team. And I'm pretty sure he'll be in a Ring of Honor for the Minnesota Vikings. But, yeah, very underrated wide receiver, very talented guy. You know, I just think that sometimes I'm gonna just keep it a buck. These white wide receivers sometimes like fly under the radar because people don't really pay that much attention to them like that. Like Jordy Nelson, Adam Thielen is another one of them. Like Cooper Kupp, you know what I'm saying? Like he gets love, but I feel like it was hard for him to kind of get that recognition. I don't know, man. It's kind of like, I don't know, Cooper DeJean. Like how Cooper DeJean just got passed up in the draft, even though he was like one of the best cornerbacks in college. But it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe they just thought he was going to be Jason Sehorn or something. I don't know, even though Jason Sehorn was pretty decent. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's like that, you know. But maybe the people are not really showing the love to the brother, you know, because of that. Sometimes, you know, that happens. I'm just be honest. Like, it just, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't know about that. But nah, Adam Thielen was a really good wide receiver, man. I mean, at one time, man, he was like on a warpath. I think he went like maybe like 8, 9, even 10 games having 100-yard receiving. So, yeah, man, incredibly talented wide receiver, no doubt. I'm going to take a few more, and then I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. I'm sorry the show is running so short, man, but, yeah, I got to go ahead and work on some other projects as well as pick up Pac-Man. Says, TJ, is it true that the Saints are pursuing Max Crosby? I don't know, man. I mean, I've heard, like, individuals talk about Max Crosby and the Saints. I think it's more like a wish list, more so than it actually being a thing. But it would be great to have Max Crosby with the New Orleans Saints, I'm sure. I mean, he's a guy with a high motor, never quits, wants to play. And, you know, I mean, it would be great. He'll be a great addition. But, you know, I don't think that should be the Saints' like top priority going after Max Crosby. But if they were to get him, I think that it would be great. Not being negative, but Kellen Moore offense has to improve. Yeah, I mean, that ain't being negative. That's a fact. But I think with the offseason and the Saints not being in cap hell the way they have been over the last couple of years, they can possibly bring some guys in. And not to mention some of the players that they had that were on injury reserve, like Jalen Pope, guys that were hurt like Trey Palmer. They can come in, add to the team. You know, now that we can see what Devon Vele can do, I'm pretty sure he'll be an integral part of that. And also fix this offensive line, fix the interior, and also maybe add another running back that's dynamic with Alvin Kamara in the backfield. And I think the offense can be up and running. Why is this a topic? I mean, you put this man through a gauntlet of scheduling with a higher percentage of passing attempts with poor clock management and want to trade him. Because he's not going to be the starting quarterback. That's the reason why. Because he's not going to be a starting quarterback with the Saints. That's the reason why it's a topic. Why? And then on top of that, the fact that you even alluding to the things that make him, you know, a serviceable quarterback, or he can thrive in certain situations, just basically reinforces this topic, my friend. You basically saying, like, if the Saints had this going on or that going on, then he would be a much better version of a quarterback. Thus, you're saying that he has the capabilities of being a starting quarterback. So why would you want Spencer Rattler to sit on the bench behind Tyler Shough if you're saying that these things were prohibiting him from being a starting quarterback? You basically reinforcing why I'm saying a team should want to trade for Spencer Rattler. So, yeah, that's the reason why we're having this topic, man. Our track record hasn't been good with the high price free agents. Yeah, it hasn't been, but I can respect the hustle. TJ, if A.J. Brown is available in free agency, would you sign him? I mean, he's a talented guy. Definitely can be that guy that's going to get those yards after the catch and can be that 50-50 ball type guy that the Saints need. But I'm a firm believer in building through the draft. And if you can actually find somebody that can actually fill that void, then it would be great. But if they was to go after AJ Brown, I wouldn't have an issue with that. The only thing that bothers me about AJ Brown sometimes, I think that he's so hell-bent on personal accolades sometimes, and the team takes a back seat. And I'm not just saying this based on my assumptions. I've heard him say this. Yeah, we win in Super Bowls, and yeah, I'm happy, man, but I still want the ball. Well, sometimes you have to sacrifice, right? Sometimes it may not be your day. Maybe we need to put an emphasis on the running game because the running game has found success lately, and we're going to run the football. I don't need somebody pouting and holding a book, you know what I'm saying, a diary, Anne Frank on the sidelines or something, you know, like for attention. I don't need that. He's a talented guy, and yeah, him and Nick Sirianni don't get along, but at the end of the day, sometimes you got to do what's best for the team. Sometimes you got to throw that block. Like sometimes, like you may not get the football. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe they rolling coverage your way that's leaving a one-on-one with Olave or Trey Palmer or something. You got to be able to accept that. You know, not just being force-fed the ball 13, 14 targets. Like, I don't know, man. It just bothers me when I see football players sometimes like it's great to have like personal accolades and wanting the best from yourself, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't be at the expense of the team. And I just think that sometimes winning should be the ultimate goal. Not, you know, like, oh, I need 2 catches in this game or I don't want to go over 100 yards. Like, who don't? Like the sixth string wide receiver would like to be force-fed the ball and go 100 yards. But I don't know, man. I think that he's talented. I think he's a beast when he's motivated. But at the same time, like sometimes you're not going to be able to get the things that you want. So me personally, I think that it shouldn't be a top priority. But if they were to sign him, then they would actually have a really good wide receiver. It's all through your takes from week 1 to 8. Now you backtracking. Sorry, bro. I was on with when you said you riding with Rattler, literally. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the topic? Like, because I want you to understand what I'm saying. You're saying I'm riding with Rattler. Okay. I'm riding with him. Okay. Let's put it like this, man. Tyler Shough is the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Kellen Moore has emphasized that. Mickey Loomis has emphasized that. Going forward, Tyler Shough is going to be the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. What can I do about it? I can ride with Rattler all day, but that's not going to change the fact that he is the backup quarterback. Like, y'all just be, I don't know if y'all just be wanting to argue, or y'all just be trying to find ways that y'all be trying to back somebody into a hole. It makes no sense. Like, just because I'm saying I'm riding with dude does not mean that I just think that he's not capable of being a starting quarterback. Hell, the reason I'm having this topic, we're talking about this topic right now, is because I believe he's a starting quarterback. But what the hell are you going to do? Oh, I'm riding with Rattler. Tyler Shough is the quarterback. Week 2, I'm riding with Rattler. You can ride with him all day. Tyler Shough is the starting quarterback of the Saints. What the hell are we doing? If the guy has talent, if the guy has ability, if he has a skill set that mimics a starting quarterback, why in God's name would I want to see him on the bench? Hell, I'm riding with him by saying that he needs to go somewhere where he can be a starting quarterback. He is not going to be a starting quarterback with the Saints. Like, I want you to understand what you're talking about here. You basically, number one, you just reinforced why we need to have this topic. Oh, he was going up against high caliber NFL teams, and his back against the wall, and it was in the infancy of Kellen Moore's coaching career. So he was trying to figure it out. Thank you very much. So that means if he goes to a team where a coach knows what the hell he's doing and he's in a better situation, then guess what? He will be a good, serviceable quarterback. Why would you want that sitting on the bench to waste away like Marcus Allen did with the Raiders for many years because Al Davis had a personal vendetta against him? You want to see this dude go out here and thrive. if you know somebody that has the capabilities of being great, but where they are right now will not suit them, why, when you have a conversation and say, hey, man, you know what, man, I think that you're wasting away here, man. I think you need to go to, I don't know, this place over here where they got so many opportunities for you. I think that's where you need to go. Or I just be like, yeah, man, yeah, go ahead and sit here for the rest of your entire life and just be mediocre. Like, just collect the check and be happy about it. That makes absolutely no sense, man. Thank you for reinforcing this subject that we're having today by saying that Spencer Rattler is a talented quarterback. And yes, I am riding with Spencer Rattler, but I know that Tyler Shough is the starting quarterback. So for my efforts to continue to ride with Spencer Rattler, I want to see this man go to another team. Yes, I want to see him go to another team where he can be a starting quarterback and write his history. Because it seemed like the history of the New Orleans Saints going forward will involve Tyler Shough being a starting quarterback. Thank you very much. But thank y'all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to try to run this thing back because I feel like, I was a little pressed for time. Like I said, I have to go. If I have time this evening, based on my fatherly duties and some of the other things I have going on, I'm going to try to get back on. We'll continue this topic. And hopefully, we have more people to be able to chime in. Hopefully, we'll have more people to be able to give their take on the whole Spencer Rattler situation. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I want to see good people, great people live their best life, not sit on the bench and waste away like Marcus Allen did for the Raiders. Previous episodes available here on YouTube. You can follow me on X at TJAYJones8. Till next time, all I got to say is